Tim, don't look so alive.
He's tired.
Yeah, I can
picked
see
up on
that.
too. Hey, don't Trump get paid.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, July 6th, 2022, and we're here for a regular scheduled town board meeting. And as always, we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Ken, can you please take the lead?
Why, certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Thank you, Ken. And Frank, do we have someone from the faith community?
Not
with
just
us
someone,
today?
we have our friend Reverend Mary Cooper from the House of Praise Christian Revival. Before she comes up, I just want to reiterate how proud I am of her and Marilyn and their efforts to get Belltown designation. Really a wonderful day, and very, very happy for you guys, and congratulations again.
It was the hottest day of the year, too, I think.
Yeah,
It
sure.
was a very hot day, yes.
And I see you're wearing your pin.
You got it, he answered.
It worked.
But I do want to thank you for your love and for your support. It was just beautiful.
Can you pull the mic down, Reverend? Pull the mic down.
Just a little closer to you.
We want to hear.
Would you
Great.
please stand? Let's bow our heads in prayer. Father, we thank you for this day which you have made for us to rejoice and to be exceedingly glad in. We thank you for waking us up this morning in our right minds, our health and strength, and to give us the health that we can come forth today. Bless everyone who's here, Lord, and their families. We wish that you would continue to watch over us, keep us safe and sound, that we may be able to enjoy this town. Grant the town officials wisdom, understanding, and knowledge how to preserve the uniqueness, the safety of this place for all of our citizens who live, work, and shop here. Please bless their staff, that they may continue to do the work. Bless the medics so they can do their work diligently. Bless the fire department and the police department, oh God. Preserve the children in the schools. We ask, oh God, that as we walk the streets, we will not have unhealthy smoke, gun violence, anti-bias, or negative vibes that others have experienced in their communities. And Holy Spirit, continue to hover over us. For you said if we ask it, it shall be given. And we thank you right now. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Reverend. I have one announcement today. We have been fortunate enough to reach out a few weeks ago to the Navy to pursue the Manorville PFAS and PFOA contamination, and they have agreed to speak with us on Friday at 2 p.m. And our town attorney, Ken Rothwell, has been working on this project, myself, and will be in attendance, and so will the Congressman's office, and we'll let the public know where we stand and what happened as a result of this phone call. But it is somewhat a progress. We've had requested some type of intervention or speaking with the Navy or visiting the Navy, and we have not really, they haven't been receptive, so this is the first time that we are seeing some type of communication, and we will advise you through a press release. And just to move on forward and mention that this past Friday, Alive on 25 was it was a fabulous event, and it was quite successful. It was the biggest ever. The fireworks were absolutely beautiful, and the next Alive on 25 is scheduled for Friday, July 15th, 2022, and just please note that Alive on 25, since 2016, was always on a Thursday. This year, we're testing to see, and we're holding these events on Fridays. And we're going to move forward and can have a first and a second to approve the minutes for the June 7th, 2022 meeting, please.
So moved.
Second.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
And Diane, do we have any communications, and can you please report the figures, please?
Certainly. Under reports, the Jamesport Fire District submitted their 2021 financial statements. Town clerk June monthly report was $11,598.33. The tax receiver total tax collection to date as of June 24th was $168,969,668.39. Under correspondence, I had 18 letters concerning the drive-through windows in Wading River
Okay.
and the possible change of legislation. Do you want me to read the names? There's a lot.
You might as well just read names, because we have in the past,
Sure.
that way it doesn't seem,
Okay, sure.
definitely not the letters.
Okay, okay. Rachel Harrison Smith, Bruce Kagan, Steve Shapiro, Carol and Hal Mishkin, Cheryl and Phil Carey, Valerie Schroeder, Ann Meyer, Nicholas DePiro, Angelica Nebel, Carrie Montalto, Michelle Karras, Barbara Turano, Deb Karras, Vivian Didino, Sean Abrin, Daniel Montalto, Jane Alcorn, Cindy Clifford. That was the drive-through windows in Wading River. Then I had 3 letters with regard to the possible amending legislation for firearms, and that was Cindy Clifford, Ethel Sussman, and Anthony Neosi. I also had 3 letters with regard to possible legislation regarding anaerobic digester, and that was Barbara Glass. Let me see here, and the Environmental Advisory Committee, and then a letter from, there were 5, 6 names on here, Habner, Gavalis, DeVito, Glass, Turchin, and Bale. And then I had a letter from Jerry Larson, who is the mayor of the village of East Hampton, and he's supporting our efforts for the ice rink at Stotsky Park. The Greater Jamesport Civic Association sent a letter of thanks for the funding and design and implementation for the Honor Garden. And Marilyn Banks Winter sent a letter of thanks for the participation and support of the commemorative Heritage Belltown event.
Just in fairness, there was a letter of support for drive-through as well.
Yeah.
There was a number of them prior also.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just
There were,
in
I
fairness.
think there were
it's been
2
both
in
sides.
support and the rest were in opposition.
Yep, just so you're aware.
Okay, thank you, Diane, and the time now is 2:12, and we're going to open a public hearing. It was scheduled for 2:05 PM this afternoon. It is for the consideration of amendment to Chapter 211, Beach and Recreation. Deputy Town Attorney Anne Marie Prudenti is here to briefly review the topic. You've been on stage a lot lately, huh? Busy person. Anne Marie, can you please brief the public
Sure.
on this matter?
So this is a proposed amendment to Town Code Chapter 211, Article 3, Section 211-14, subsection B3, which is proposing to repeal a section of the code providing for the issuance of a seasonal parking permit to non-residents of the town of Riverhead.
Okay, do any members of the public wish to speak on this matter? Please come forward and identify your hamlet, your name, your hamlet. And do we have the statement to read? Oh, no, we'll read it at the,
Public hearings, no time.
no, next time, I know. Yes, there's some time. Yeah. Hi,
Hello, good afternoon.
good afternoon.
I am Bob Skinner. I live at 14 Eileen Circle in Jamesport. I just want to say that I've sat in on a number of beach committee meetings, so just get that out of the way. As I understand it, there is still today the ability to purchase a beach parking pass seasonal if the person wants. Not the daily permits, but the seasonal permits. As late as April, I thought this might be a good idea if it was, came under the category of somebody in the town had to sponsor the individual that wanted it. You put a good high fee cost on it. Don't make it easy if somebody from out of town wants it, and make them have some sort of a stake, if you will, in the town. Limit the number of passes, and then have a year-to-year review of whether or not this is a good idea in general. But then, I think of it in terms of going to the beach now, and I'm only talking about the beach. The other parks and stuff, I have no skin in that game, so I have no comment regarding that. And I understand that there are other issues and concerns with those entities as opposed to the beach. But we're not making any more beaches. We're not making any more parking spaces at the beaches, but there certainly are a large number of housing units on the docket right now that those people are going to come into play at some point in the near future. So therefore, I have to say, I think it would probably be a good idea to cancel the ability to obtain the seasonal parking, at least for the beaches, going forward from this point, because it's going to have to be done soon anyway. If anybody saw what Iron Pier looked like on Sunday afternoon, in not too long a period of time, it's going to be to the point where there won't be a place to park. So,
Okay, so I understand your concerns. I thought that this was to be addressed in the past, and obviously, at this moment, it hasn't. I assigned Tim Hubbard to be the liaison
right, and
to
we
the
spoke.
beach committee, and I know you guys have been meeting, and it's been very successful.
Yes, we have.
And I hear it from all the beaches.
Right.
So fortunately, he's not here, and I just want to, let the attorney's office know if they can work with me. Whenever you have a liaison and a committee, to have a public hearing and the person's not here, it shouldn't go. I mean, of course, he made plans and he didn't
No, that's
anticipate
fine,
them.
but
But I
everything-
wish he was here to address this matter, and, have you reached out to him in
Yeah.
this regard? Oh, great.
Oh, yeah, everything that
That's
I
here,
just
okay.
said has been spoken back and forth.
Okay, so that has to
But
be,
I'm thinking this is a public hearing, so
Sure.
therefore,
Okay.
this should be part of the record in the public hearing, whether or not we've had those conversations.
oh, sure,
So,
you're
you know,
entitled. I
yeah.
just want to make sure everybody's, there's a connection to everyone.
And I have to admit, what I just said goes to both sides of the argument, and I understand that. But as long as everything is out there and is being considered for, for anybody else that has, similar or either or, I just felt as though it was something that, yes, it has received consideration. There's no two ways about it.
Right.
And to see it come up in this format was something that I didn't think could pass by, so
Okay, good.
that's it. Do you have any questions for me?
No,
Okay,
you're on top of it, and thank you for volunteering.
all right, thank you.
Anyone else want to come forward?
So can I make?
Any members of the town board want to comment on this?
So maybe there is a way to address this, but it was an answer that I currently don't know, is that you have a woman that reached out to me that her mother lives here in the town of Riverhead, and she likes to, her mother doesn't drive, she's elderly, lives at home, so she likes to go to her mother's house and bring lunch, pick her up, and they drive down to the beach, and they'll sit at the beach, and they'll, how does it affect someone of that nature where she would no longer be able to buy a beach pass, and her mother, who is in fact a Riverhead town resident, would no longer be able to essentially go to the beach? So is there a way in which maybe we have in the past, or how do we address that? So I'm seeking advice from our attorney's office. I still want, if somebody owns a piece of property and someone wants to be able to come and take them over and they can't drive and they need assistance from their son or daughter, that I think there should be a way that we can still figure that out.
Well, whether it's seasonal or daily, it's affixed to the vehicle. So, for instance, if the mother had a vehicle, she could take her mother's vehicle to the
She
beach.
does not, because her mother doesn't drive, and that's the
Okay.
question. So she would buy one in the past as an outing, just to have the vehicle on the car. But if that's eliminated, then are we eliminating all potential options for her, as
Well-
an example?
I always think we could address the elderly and the handicapped in our code provisions, and we could certainly do that here. I
That's
mean,
something I would like to consider.
It serves a valid purpose,
Yeah.
and
If
there
this
are
is
a lot of elderly or,
a particular
individuals.
form that someone can fill out on behalf that, that says that they live, or they're a senior citizen in the town and they'd like to have one in which whether it be even a caretaker that generally comes to the home and feeds them, and helps them with daily activities, and could at the same point physically take the individual to a beach or something, I want to still be able to make sure they have that option to do so.
I'm not sure that
We can also, people can walk onto the beach, so there is no restriction if you live nearby and you take a stroll. You know, the monitoring that's done at the beach is vehicular primarily. There was no beach police going to see who has and who doesn't have a permit, and actually you shouldn't have that there, especially on a beach. But the monitoring that we have are vehicular, so at any point, anybody can drive somebody to the beach, or people can walk onto the beach, so we don't not, and I just want to make sure that they don't
But
get
in
confused.
Wading River, you wouldn't have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
So you have one parking
Sure.
lot for one beach, and outside of that beach, there's generally no parking within that area. So they would be greatly limited to their options.
So, to be quite frank, I don't know that you can do that without doing an amendment. I don't know if you can create an application procedure not supported by the law. Just like we did an application procedure for hotel owners, and it's specified in the code, we could certainly do the same thing.
So that's just my thought process. The public hearings are always great because it opens up and often the line of communication begins before the actual public hearing today. So I would just like to, if it's necessary, to, in any way, to amend it to protect our seniors, that those seniors that don't drive would still have the ability to obtain a pass. If they live in the town, they should still have access to the amenities of the town. Just a thought.
I know when we spoke with Ray, we were talking about placards for unusual cases. That might
Yes.
still be an option
Right.
in this case for those situations. But we should definitely
Right.
go back to the drawing board and see how we can make it more handicap and elderly friendly. Yep.
Now, did this go through code yet?
I believe it did.
Okay, because that
I-
wasn't
it
addressed
was-
then.
I believe it was drafted by the town attorney.
No,
So,
but I know, but we have a process. It goes through code, then it
Yes.
goes to the town attorney. Now we're at the public hearing, so,
It wasn't thought about in code, so this was
Okay.
part
Right.
of, that was reached out by a citizen that pointed out, and I
Right.
said, you're right, I don't have the answer to that. So
Yeah,
we have to
okay.
learn from the people
so
in
it's
the
going,
town.
right,
Yeah.
and that's why we're here too. An additional layer, so then it has to go back to code.
well, this provision is relating to non-residents only. The discussion here that you're having now is
It's
about an
outside that.
application process for your residents.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that could be a following step if
Right.
you're inclined to do that. Because,
I think so. So we have two different
right,
Because
areas
often
to
other
address. Yeah,
children or caretakers that live out of town would buy it, put it on their car so they can help
yeah.
the individual.
So as the last gentleman stated, perhaps that's somebody who sponsors somebody, a resident that would sponsor their daughter or whomever.
Okay, we're getting there.
it's a great idea.
And of course, all this has to be brought up to Tim Hubbard, he is the liaison. And this committee has been working quite well. And to those volunteers that are not here and are watching, thank you so much for working. Things are moving along those lines. Anyone else have any comments? No one from the board? We're done?
That's Zoom.
You have Zoom? We have one person through Zoom. Okay.
Are you muted, John?
Here he is.
One moment, John.
Now we can hear you, now we have to,
On the point you were just talking about, I would think if you have a placard system for guests in hotels, then the same kind of system could be used for people handicapped or aged who are residents but don't have their own vehicles.
John, could you pause 1 minute, please? We have an audio problem.
say the problem now is the dog barking. So at any rate, what, I think a placard system could be used for town residents who no longer have their own vehicles because of age or health reasons. And have a caretaker or a child or somebody bringing them. It should be a definable group, and there are all kinds of ways in which people get that recognition. The main thing I wanted to say is, just let me try and quiet the dog, is whether you have ever discussed reciprocity with Southampton so that people who live on the other side of the Peconic River or in the near areas of Flanders that are in the school district would be able to use our beaches, and we would be able to use the Southampton Ocean beaches, in which each town would honor the other town's beach stickers.
Well, John, with your dog barking, now you know how we feel when people bark at us.
And here I was being totally positive and supportive.
Yeah, you're being very positive.
Yes, you are, John, and you bring up a good point. It's something that has to be addressed. It seems like there's two prongs to this legislation, and that's why we're here, as Councilman Rothwell said, to bring up these points and to address it, but thank you for your input.
Sure.
All right. Be
As long as
safe.
that's a service dog, it's allowed here at the meeting, John.
No, he's a Tennessee Walker treeing hound. Like a beagle with long legs.
All right, John, you take care. Anyone else? Okay, this concludes our public hearing. We'll leave it open for written comments for 10 days until 4:30 on July 15, 2022, at the town clerk's office. Before we move on to resolutions today, we're going to open it up. We're going to open up this meeting for public comments on any of the resolutions. Does anyone have a comment on any of the resolutions? I know there was a comment that we should have read at the public hearing. You're addressing the entire board. You're not going to be accusatory. So anyone from the public that wants to come forward, please address the entire board. No one?
Not all at once.
Not all. Okay.
It's a big crowd.
Okay, no one from Zoom? All right, this is very unusual. I'm starting to feel like something's wrong. Even McAuliffe was positive. No, we love you, John. A meeting is not without, a meeting without you. Okay, no one? All right, before we move on, we're gonna move on to resolutions, and Diane, can you please call the resolutions for today?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Resolution 479.
Riverhead IDA budget transfer, so moved.
Seconded.
Go, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 480.
Water District Plan 10 Storage Tank Project 82055 budget adjustment, so moved.
Second.
Go, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 481.
Rescinding of the water capital project number 82112, the shipyard closure, so moved.
Seconded.
Go, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 482.
Water capital project 82112, the shipyard budget amendment, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 483.
General Fund A01 budget adjustment, so moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 484.
Authorization for an employee to attend a training course, so moved.
Seconded.
Okay, I didn't see this. Devin?
All the paperwork's there. Everything's good.
No, not that it looks good. I wasn't informed of the trainings coming out of our budget. This is outside of our budget. But, okay. Yeah, future training, we have to go. I need to secure our budget and not just see it at a resolution. I'm gonna vote for it this time.
Okay. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 485.
Appoints automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 486.
Appoints automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 487.
Appoints a seasonal clerk to the Riverhead Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 488.
Appoints a call-in recreation aide to the Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 489.
Appoints an assessment clerk. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 490.
Ratifies the appointment a town budget officer. Should be out a town budget officer. So moved.
Okay, so we're gonna
Seconded.
amend this resolution?
Yes.
Just to add the word "of a town budget officer,"
Yes.
Yeah, as amended.
which is also gonna be known as the chief of staff.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes, best of luck. I know many people here know you, and, I think you're gonna do well, moving forward. Thank you, Diane.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 491.
Ratifies the terms and conditions of employment for Debbie Burkowski, Town Budget Officer. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 492.
Ratifies the approval of Riverhead Raceway fireworks application July 2nd, 2022. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 493.
Approves fireworks application for Riverhead Raceway August 13th, 2022. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 494.
Approves special event, Chapter 255, application for Garden of Eve Garlic Festival. So moved.
No,
No.
jump
No, no,
ahead
no.
there, Phil.
Long Island?
Oh, Long Island.
Yeah. You might have to, this is for
A little out of, yep.
Come on.
Got it,
Got it,
got it.
Bring out your Irish.
I'm surprised you didn't know.
Excuse me. Approves special event, Chapter 255, application for Long Island Brewing, halfway to St. Patty's Day. So moved.
Absolutely seconded.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Erin Gobra, yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 495.
Approve special event, Chapter 255, application for Garden of Eve Garlic Festival. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 496.
Approve special event Chapter 255 application for Chicken Kids consignment event October 11th through October 16th, 2022. So moved. Great organization.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
This is such a great event for the entire community. So many parents and children benefit from this, and I'm glad. I know a few years ago they had problems. I'm glad they're moving forward and everything's been settled with them, and we hope to visit you for many years. I vote yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 497.
Approve special event, Chapter 255, application for Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, CF Cycle for Life. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 498.
Authorizes extension of the Riverhead Parking District to include properties at 205 Osborne Avenue, Suffolk County Tax Map numbers 600-128-2-21.1 and 600-128-2-22. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 499.
Grants final site plan approval for the site plan application of 205 Osborne Avenue, mixed-use building, 205 Osborne Avenue, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-128-2-21-.1 and 600-128-2-22. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Dayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 500.
Grants special permit for 265 Washington Avenue to establish a home occupation in an accessory structure pursuant to Town Code Section 301-14B, parentheses 5, 265 Washington Avenue, Jamesport, New York, Suffolk County Tax Number 600-68-3-26. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, people in the audience, take note of that address. They're making Irish soda bread. Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Dayrod.
Yeah, I wish them lots of luck.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 501.
Assumes lead agency and issues negative declaration pursuant to SECR for the special permit and site plan application of Dries Specchio Factory Outlet Stores, 2009 Old Country Road, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-118-3-7. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Dayrod.
Yeah.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 502.
Schedules public hearing for the special permit application of Dries Specchio Manufacturers Outlet Center, 2009 Old Country Road, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-118-3-7. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Dayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 503.
Adopts a local law amending Chapter 253 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Outdoor Dining. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes, and I'm really glad that we're doing this. It extends outdoor dining for 4 years to help our restaurants as much as possible to recoup some of what they lost during the pandemic. So yes, yes, yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Dayrod.
Yes, indeed.
Aguiar.
Yes, this was something that we started in Riverhead, very successful, emulated across the entire Suffolk County. We are making it now for 4 years. The only thing is, Anne Marie, do you have the resolution in front of you? I don't see the 4 years here.
That's correct.
Yeah, so
I
what
was-
happened here?
So I was
I'm
going to
not-
highlight, so what was published was a term of 3 years. So while
To
the,
make it 4.
So can we amend it, can we revote and amend it to 4?
Yeah, this is, you know what, I know that the fire marshals wasn't happy because they wanted to check this out every year, and the fire marshals should be checking outside dining every year and not inspect our buildings. So I know there's been concern back and forth, I'm glad that I caught it. This resolution is inappropriate, and this has to be addressed, and I think before going back and forth, I think, Anne Marie, we have enough here with the board to have this amendment appropriately.
Can we amend it?
Correct?
well,
But what do you
your
want it to
notice
say?
of adoption, your notice of adoption
4 years.
states 4 years, and what you annex to it, the proposed code, is 3.
Oh, that's a, that's.
Well,
the-
there is an error, so, you know, I
We
think
just
it,
had a public hearing, is that public hearing no?
well,
Now we have to go back to
No,
the
no, what?
drawing board. Well, she said, you know, let me just finish, because I think if she says that it's no, then we have, if it's no, the public hearing, then we have to go back and amend.
Or is it
and
just a
approve it.
typo here right now in the public hearing statement?
That's what I'm wondering.
Well, that's what I'm asking, if,
Right.
is it, if it's a typo, right, if it's a typo and if the public hearing, public came and spoke on this. A lot of work went into this. This should have been addressed appropriately.
Can we
So-
put this on hold while we check the website and see what was
well,
published?
so what I would like to do is,
Is Karen in today? Can she check somebody check
Yeah.
in the office?
Diane, so what I'd like to see is, I'd like to see
What
the
was
newspaper
actually- right.
posting. I want to see if there was a conflict within that original post. And, you know, I can't do the research now.
Right.
It's quite possible this is de minimis. I don't have a record of what the comments were of the people that came out, if there wasn't anybody
There weren't that many,
against.
right?
There was nobody against.
I think it's very positive.
It was all positive.
Devin, can you see what was posted for us? I would prefer to handle this right now, if we can, because this has been going on for a very long time. And this is to protect
back
our
to it.
businesses.
Well, what you
You
can
know.
certainly do
What?
is you could adopt it at 3, and we
I'm not adopting
Okay.
anything at 3. The
Okay.
purpose was to take it from 1 year, which passed through us.
Yes.
I picked up the error. Our fire marshal should be checking chairs and using that as their primary job. Then they put in 3 years, then we took it from 3 to 4. This gotta end. I mean, it's a very simple legislation. I'm not blaming you, you know.
Well, you
It's a
can't.
simple legislation that we can get out of it. So if we
Barbara
can,
says 4 years.
Barbara, you approve
She's
4
yelling
years?
at me. 4.
Yeah, it was.
Can I get
Barbara-
5 anywhere in the
Barbara
room?
was here. So the question becomes, can we put this?
Says 4 years?
Can we put
Notice
this,
says 4.
yeah,
Thank you, Barbara.
can we just put this to the back while she's researching?
Well, I think we should be addressed today. I
I know.
think we have enough means, and we're in a legislative session right now to adopt legislation, and I am,
And if it's posted at 4.
Do we need?
yeah, we'll find out today.
Do we need a
So,
unanimous vote to
the
make
good
an amendment?
news,
Oh, so why don't we just, can we, we're good?
Just want to make sure.
Ms.
we're
Blas just shared with me the notice stated 4.
Okay, so this is a typo.
Well, it's not typo, it's just not in here. It's not
Well-
listed in here.
Yes.
Yes,
Says
it's a
3.
typo.
Typo on the
It's a
additional,
typo.
Says 3.
On the additional page, but the actual resolution does not say 4.
but this is part of the
I
resolution,
know.
so this has to be amended
So-
to 4.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what do we do?
So
As
it
amended.
should be on the resolution
All right.
and corrected on the second page.
Correct.
And we have the ability now to continue with this
Correct.
legislation, so we're gonna move it forward with a two adoption, components. First page, say 4 year, second page, say 4 years. I thank you, Barbara, because you help us move this forward. It's been a long time, frustrating.
So for clarification, so the next chapter 253, section 253-1 shall read, operation of sidewalk cafes, period. The fire marshal is hereby authorized to grant revocable permits for a period of 4 years for the use of the sidewalks or sidewalk cafes upon the following terms and conditions.
And the 10 days already passed after the public hearing, so we're in good shape. I think the legislation can move forward.
Okay, so we're gonna vote as amended?
As amended. You agree?
Yes.
Okay, so we're doing the vote over?
Yes.
Yes, we're gonna do the vote over with the amendment.
Okay. Kern,
Yeah, I'll vote as amended to 4 years.
Rothwell,
Yes is amended.
Bayrod,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Finally, yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 504.
Adopts a local law amending Chapter 259 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Raceways. 259.4 Days and Hours of Operation Rescheduling. So moved.
Second,
Vote, please.
Kern,
yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrod,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 505.
Approves Ed Cork and Sons, Inc. as drain layer for Riverhead Sewer District. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 506.
Awards bid for Town of Riverhead sale of obsolete/surplus highway department vehicles/equipment. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes, good attempt for highway supervisor cleaning up the yard and a little money towards his budget. Yes, I approve.
Yeah, it does.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 507.
Extends bid for disposal of town-generated construction and demolition materials. So moved.
Second,
Vote, please.
Kern.
yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 508.
Extends agreement for landfill monitoring. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 509.
Authorizes Lawrence M. Levy to provide additional cablecast production services regarding the 2022 State of the Town address on June 29th, 2022, 7 PM at the Town Board Meeting Room, Riverhead Town Hall, 200 Howell Avenue, Riverhead, New York, Nunk-Pro-Tunk. So moved.
No, that just says not pro, oh, I just take
What'd you say?
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yeah.
Aguirre.
Vote, please.
No,
So you have
we
to
did.
say
Okay.
Your vote.
Hold on. Okay.
Do you want to pay for your speech?
Yeah, I know. Yes, I'm gonna go for that one. I was
Resolution.
looking for a cost. I think, in the future, anytime we have a recording, I think we should have a little bit of a cost in there, and editing costs.
It says $300.
Yeah, it says 300, the editing wasn't in there, so we need to have it, thank you. Yeah, be a little more specific, because right now, we don't even know what costs.
$60 an hour plus 300 for editing.
Yeah, so it's 60 hours, but he's gonna say 10 hours. Then it's 600. So we'll just have to tighten that down in the next resolution.
It's a good
Yes.
idea.
So
Yeah,
so
thanks.
Supervisor, this is a resolution, so what we could do is amend this for a total amount not to exceed 300, together with editing costs.
Yeah, and right.
So,
We'll do
Did we
that for
already
now.
make a verbal agreement with them, though, I think, right, for this one?
Yeah, we did, but right now, I'm told that it could be 6 hours of editing when I can buy a tape what's that editing service, Mabadi, and you can do it in 20 minutes, so just trying to preserve money, so.
okay,
I was told six hours of possibly editing, that's not gonna fly. So I'm just making sure that we can
Okay.
tighten that down.
okay,
If it's an hour long, in this case was 20 minutes, it was 18-minute speech, I understand. So 6 hours of editing doesn't,
okay.
so we're just trying to tighten that down. And when we complete the legislation, we, try to tighten that a little bit.
Okay.
Should we limit the supervisor's speech to 5 minutes?
Oh, you had a good time when you were there.
Yes, I did.
Everybody here was there, and it was well, and it was well attended. We had a cross-section of individuals from the entire community. It was very positive. East Hampton, quite a few towns listened to it, and they said, wow, that's very, very upbeat, not too long. And so we move on. It still has to be edited, because the day after he taped it, it went away for 10 days. So we still don't have an official copy. What's online is just, I believe, a Zoom version, but we'll have to work on that. All right, moving forward.
Okay, were you all set?
Yes, we are.
So Resolution
Thank you,
509 is adopted. Resolution 510.
Authorizes Lawrence M. Levy, DBA On-Site Productions, non-pro-tunc, to provide additional audiovisual production services for the town of Riverhead. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Please.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, and you see here it says support services not to exceed $95.
That's why.
That's what, yeah, that's what we should be having in the future, when we create legislation.
90 miles per hour.
Per hour, okay. So one is 60 an hour and another one is 95?
There's different ones editing.
Yeah, all right, we'll have to work on that. I'm gonna vote yes.
Okay, resolution adopted. Resolution 511.
Authorizes the supervisor to sign a proposal from Urban Design Associates for development of a Central Riverhead activation plan. So moved.
Seconded.
Kern.
Vote, please.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Okay, hold on, I'm trying to find out. Anne Marie, what is the cost going to urban design?
I think it's
Go to the end of the
It's
contract.
somewhere around that neighborhood.
Yeah, it's,
78,
okay, that was
78.
78, okay.
That
And they're
should
gonna,
be in here as well.
okay, they're gonna do that.
it's in the annexed agreement.
Great, perfect, yes,
78,500.
thank you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 512.
Authorizes supervisor to sign and amend memorandum of agreement with Suffolk County for the school bus stop arm camera program. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 513.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement authorizing the town to accept funds from Suffolk County Office for the Aging to supplement the town's expanded in-home services for the elderly program. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguirre.
I just want to take one moment and thank the senior center here. I've had, fortunately, I've had, I was forced to work with them right after COVID hit, and not in a negative sense, it just happened. And they've been great. The personality's there, they're caring, and as of last month, they served close to 100,000 meals through the Meals on Wheels program and through the in-house where you can go and have lunch. That's an amazing, in 2 years to serve those kind of meals. So we just want to thank you, we're working hard in your care. Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 514.
Authorizes the supervisor to issue a letter to the Suffolk County Department of Health Services allowing the use of Pine Barrens credits originated from property located in Riverhead Academy Charter School wine dance. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrad.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 515.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute a second amendment to license agreement with Quinley, Inc., DBA Bloom. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrad.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 516.
Resolution terminating agreement with AKRF Inc. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrad.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 517.
There's a lot to read. Let's see. Pays bills. So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, I have a 518 here.
Oh.
Usually pays the bills, it's the last one,
We
right?
just had a little shuffle in
Okay.
the office this morning.
Okay.
I know, that's what I was.
Yeah,
no,
I'm
not
like,
to confuse
okay,
you, just-
That's fine,
okay.
yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrad.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 518.
Schedules public hearing on proposed code amendment to Chapter 301, Article 16 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Business PB, Bus PB, Zoning Use District. So moved.
For a second, can you explain what this one is for? This is the,
So this is a amendment to Chapter 301, Article 16, zoning district, business PB, and it adds a use under 301, Section 83, dwelling, one family.
so this is where Roanoke Avenue specifically, correct? We're allowing them to go back to Roanoke Avenue, so where somebody may have converted years ago their residential home into a dentist, and now they're going to sell it, they want to have the ability to convert it back to a residential home, so I second that.
Vote, please.
Kern.
I'm going to say yes. Why isn't daycare allowed, a permitted use here?
If it's,
I think it is.
Just,
Yeah, okay, yes.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I think there is a daycare on Roanoke.
Rothwell.
There is.
yes.
Sayrad.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's not listed.
Did you want to add that?
No, I mean,
If it's not listed, daycare?
No, it's, we'll just call that a
And
professional.
they're just going back to regular residential homes is the idea,
Yeah, that's
restore
it,
what it once
exactly.
was.
Right.
Well, just to be crystal clear, it's not limited to that. It's now a listed use, so
Yeah, but a residential was not, so it couldn't go back to a house once it was converted into a chiropractor's office or a doctor's
Right.
office. They couldn't buy it as a house and live in it and get a CO. Now they can.
Right.
So you're restoring the original function, which Roanoke Avenue was all residential homes at one point.
well,
initially.
arguably, you could erect a single-family home,
Yeah.
to be clear.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, just to be clear.
Okay, we'll leave it as is. Thank you, Diane. This concludes our resolutions for today. And at this moment, I'm going to ask anyone from the public if they would like to come and speak on any matter. Does anyone want to come forward? Yes. Afternoon.
Hi, My name is Jack Wade. I live on Robert Street in Aquabog. I don't have any notes.
Okay.
My question is two parcels on East Main Street, two vacant parcels. One of them is the one in between Haiku Restaurant and the drugstore,
Okay.
Bart's.
Okay.
And the other one is the vacant parcel that's now all boarded up
Okay.
because the buildings came down. Now, I have more information now than when I got here. Thank you, Anne Marie, for researching that parcel in between the Japanese restaurant. That appears to be so far, town property. So evidently, the town is maintaining it, which is very nice. You can walk from the parking lot, back and forth, students can come down to Main Street, and you can use that thing to go up and down. It's very nice. Thank you for doing that. I'm guessing the town also assumes liability for that. So, that said, why can't we get those boards down, those hideous boards in front of the lot that the buildings were taken down? I know that Petrocelli advertised at the time that he was going to seed it and make it so we could use it. Now, if it's a liability issue, well, then it's got to be the same liability than the one on the north side of Main Street. So I don't understand why we can't get those down. Can he be compelled to take those things down and seed
Okay,
it?
so I got it. It would be the same liability. The issue here is not a liability issue. When the engineers went to inspect the location, they found that in front of the Suffolk Theater, there was a pipe, a huge, let me finish, water main pipe that collapsed, and it was going to be flooding. There's going to be concrete put down in front of the theater and in front of where the board is.
Drainage pipes.
Drainage pipe, it was a drainage pipe. Now, it doesn't belong to us. That street belongs to the state. We've been working, yeah, laugh, but that's what happens when you take on these big projects. We've been in touch with the state. They've been going back and forth with the attorney's office. They now finally, both attorneys are speaking, from what I'm told. They are about to reach an agreement. They have to come in, repair that component, and the wall will come down. There is no one more, no one that wants that wall to go down more than me.
Yeah,
I can assure you. And I've been monitoring. I know you mentioned Petrocelli. He also wants it to go forward. I've been in touch with him on numerous occasions. The entire town wants to go forward, and I'm glad you want it to go forward. But sometimes we have to go through certain other jurisdictions' requirements. And I know, Anne Marie, you have a little bit more
Right.
information on
So I
this.
spoke to engineering, and the supervisor is 100% correct. Along 25, there's actually a slight dip. And for years, prior to demolishing this building, there were drainage pipes from Suffolk Theater side of the road that actually went underneath and were embedded in the foundations of one of the buildings. I forget if it was 117 or 121. So anyway, when the buildings were demolished, that old pipe, which was actually broken down and fallen apart anyway, probably from the weight of the building, et cetera, over time. So we did enter into an agreement with New York State DOT. And the reason we've kept the walls up is they have machinery, crews, big concrete vaults that they're lifting into place. We certainly don't want people walking along Main Street with the heavy equipment
No.
or this material.
I agree.
So Ken Testa informed me today that DOT is really making swift progress.
Good.
And hopefully, within a matter of days, they'll be complete. The walls will come down, and Mr. Petrocelli will complete the demolition specifications, which require a walkway on or about the center, grassy areas on both sides. That's what we're waiting on.
We're very close.
Great. So if past issues are this, of the state or of anything to see, you know. What are you saying, the state is gonna move in a couple of days?
They are
They
already.
are.
This
They're
has
on
been-
site.
Yep.
They are on
This has
site.
been going on for a while, that's why. And you're right about the state, but the town attorney's office, things are moving, and our engineering department,
Yeah, they're on site. They're working.
they're working.
actually.
So
That's great, that's great. Thank you.
can't fix the potholes on the expressway, but we're getting this done.
And we don't want flooding going into the new, opening either onto the seed, and apparently there's flooding there, so that's all being corrected, we're almost there. Great, anyone else? Okay. And then we'll go to Zoom. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Jerry Lowe. I'm from 97 Ellen Street in Riverhead. I have something regarding the Resolution 358 and Chapter 251. I submitted a formal complaint to Richard Downs, town investigator.
Okay, that's not that's a prior resolution, it's not one for today. Can you just tell us the title of it?
Well, it's just regarding the noise of
Noise complaint from
right,
where?
noise complaint of quads and dirt bikes and stuff.
Okay.
Riding up and down the streets, terrorizing the whole neighborhood.
Okay.
There's an empty lot which someone owns, and they made it into a motocross.
Is
And-
code enforcement here? Can we try to get code enforcement here?
Let me see if he,
Devin, can we get code enforcement here, please?
Okay.
Because I know they've
So-
worked on that location, so we need to have, bring it
Right,
full
so
circle.
Mr. Downs actually called me, and he said he contacted the owners and their children or whoever's riding the quads and the issue. And they stated that they would, or he said that they would cease and desist, stop. But since then, they're still doing it. So it's neighborhood kids, but it's their kid, the owners of the lot
What's
is
the
the
address?
leader.
Yeah.
What is the address, sir?
97 Ellen Street?
Is my address. 89 Ellen Street is the lot address. And the parents or owners of that lot are 17 Ellen Street.
So they own 17 and 89 is what you're saying?
Right,
and
they
89
live
is vacant.
they live in a house on 1789 Ellen Street is an empty lot.
Got it.
how many acres is that empty lot?
It's about just under an acre, 0.85, 0.87.
You know, we're,
Yeah.
we're waiting on code, somebody should be here from code.
Yeah, I've
Especially
made
during the town board
multiple,
meeting.
attempts with the police, calls and
Okay, so you
things
had,
like that,
you've
and-
made prior complaints to the
Right.
police also? Okay, it's important to know, Mr. Law.
Right, and it just seems like nothing's helping. I don't know if any steps that Mr. Downs is going to be taking after this or whatever, but obviously, it's affecting my use of the home, the property, the noise. My bedroom's right there next to that lot. Can't sleep, during time, because I work for the Federal Aviation Administration, and my schedule is very flexible and unique. So I
Well,
have to sleep sometimes during the afternoon, and it's just a nightmare.
so I understand from what you stated that Officer Downs got voluntary compliance. They were going to cease and desist. They
Correct,
have not done that.
correct.
So Supervisor, the town attorney's office will work with code enforcement, and obviously, we're not going to accept a voluntary. So,
Yeah, but we should have heard from Richie Downs. I mean, it is a town board meeting, and we just asked them to be available those 2 hours between, twice a month. So when this arises and somebody comes
Okay.
in, that we could do. So, is he available?
He's en route. He'll be here in a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's good. So we're going to take the next person. We'll wait till our code, because it's better to find out what happened and then move forward.
Right,
with a
I
more-
don't have all the details. from
Exactly,
Mr.
so we
Downs,
just want to
but,
be more thorough and see what's going on, so we can make a better decision in your favor, okay, sir?
Okay.
If you
Now-
don't mind, Mr. Lowe, I'll take a couple more people, and we'll
Sure.
have to code.
There's someone here, actually,
Okay, in
fellow
addition,
neighbor that's related to this issue, but, and that.
okay.
She has other things.
And Devin, can you get Mr. Lowe's contact phone number, information, email, phone number, name, address?
Good
Hi-
afternoon.
good afternoon, ma'am.
Karen Leslie.
Okay,
I would ask the board to consider going into executive session on this because I have more issues related to this particular homeowner and other incidents.
session.
And Downs is also apprised of that.
all
as-
right, ma'am, the executive session, there's a certain amount of things like contractual, because you don't want people bidding against possible property acquisition. Personnel matters is supposed to.
Yes,
But hold on,
yes.
so when we have a matter that has to be kept confidential, we go through the attorney's office. And that's, so, and it will be made, so you can speak to the attorney's office under a confidentiality.
They are aware of it. What I'm interested in, and I was an ethics officer of the state, so I'm familiar with Public Officers Law 105. So under 105, the general nature is all that has to be imparted to the board. And A, B, and C under Public Officers Law 105, I would rely upon to bring it to the board and not simply the town attorney, because the town attorney is apprised collaterally on these events.
So you're saying
it's-
that you have not received satisfaction for the attorney's office?
Correct.
Okay, we're just gonna see where you stand on it. So you're saying, and they have been addressing
Well,
this matter?
I'm actually not wanting to get into this because that's the reason for asking if we could go into executive session on this, so that it will be piecemeal with the whole point of executive session.
Okay, so I do have a liaison from my office, which is Tim Hubbard. He is the liaison for code, and I also have Kenneth Rothwell. They're both liaisons, but they are council people to report, to us.
I've spent in all respect, I've spent so much time on this, that it's, and I wasn't even going to come today except for
Okay.
Mr. Lulz and to support him. But I think there's things that the court, that the town board here now should know. And whatever happens with that, I would just ask to be heard. And if the town attorney then wants to double back or whatever, but I'm just,
So, Ms. Leslie, I will gladly, at the conclusion of the meeting, sit with you. And Mr. Lowell, I understand you may have worked with the town attorney's
Okay,
office
can I just-
before.
Anne Marie,
She's never worked with me, though.
That's okay.
So,
Hold on a second. I have a liaison who's a council person that has to relate to us. I'm going to sign him after the meeting to speak with you.
that means coming back
Confidentiality.
again, is that correct?
Huh?
That means,
No, right after the meeting.
okay.
In a few, it's good, about to close. We only hear a few people.
Who is the town attorney?
Right,
Town.
right here.
So if
Kenneth
you'd like, I'll
Rothwell.
stay after the meeting and we'll have a discussion.
Okay, and he'll be responsible, and it'll be confidential.
Okay.
Okay, it'll be related to us and the board after he finishes, okay? Okay.
I'll just ask which attorney she was in contact.
I'm not getting into attorneys, let's not point fingers. We gotta just keep that, make sure that we hear the information and it's confidential. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for agreeing, Kenneth, to go forward with that. Anyone else? Oh, I meant to say Zoom. Do we have anybody Zoom yet?
Yes, Kathy.
Okay, we'll do it afterwards. Yeah, you want to go first, right, Barbara? Well, no, come on.
If you would like to entertain
No,
I'm used to that.
You're standing.
I'm not going to queue for you to go to Zoom, because it seems like every time I go,
no, come.
so it's okay if you want to.
No, you come on. We-
All right. Good afternoon, my name is Barbara Blass, I live in Jamesport. Members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, You've been asked by a private business entity to change the town code to permit the construction of an anaerobic digester in the planned industrial park district. It's a type 1 action. The town board held a public hearing on a code amendment to specifically prohibit this use in the PIP. The private business entity again presented its project with its many moving parts to the town, this time at a work session, requesting that you consider permitting the use in the PIP by special permit. This oversimplistic suggestion that the town board can use the special permit criteria to satisfy its seeker responsibility is a gross distortion of even the minimum requirements for this change of zone. As if the process wasn't already tortured, here's where it really falls off the rails. The seeker in the finding statement that was done in connection with the establishment of the PIP was never assessed solid waste management facilities and their associated impacts. The recently adopted solid waste management plan did not contemplate this zone change, nor the construction of an AD, nor any other solid waste facility within the PIP or anyone else in the town, or anywhere else in the town to manage the town's food waste. The facility needs feedstock from well outside of the town of Riverhead. At the very least, one would need to reevaluate the swamp and its seeker review in order to supplement the record even before any required project-specific EIS. Moreover, the town is already exploring alternative arrangements to handle food waste generated within the town to meet the new state mandates. These options do not require processing garbage from other towns. To change a zoning use district without establishing the necessary groundwork or providing a rational foundation, but rather in response to a request from a private business, fits the definition of arbitrary and capricious. Some could even argue that it's spot zoning. Further, a business entity requesting that a town change a zone and offering some sort of public-private arrangement without an RFP is actually disturbing. The largest revenue source from an AD is tipping fees, a direct disincentive to food waste reduction strategies, which must be aggressively pursued as a component of all waste management strategies. The lure of suggested community benefits should in no way greenlight, dilute, or distort any of the regulatory process. Please set aside the skip the details approach on this particular matter. And I leave you with this final question. With the number and complexities of development proposals currently before the town, several of which require EIS coordination by the planning department, the effort to get the comprehensive plan back on track, the downtown redevelopment proposals, the wild card we know as EPCAL, and so much more, is this the best use of staff time and town resources? I thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you, Barbara. Anyone on Zoom? Yes. Okay. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kathy.
My name is Kathy McGraw. I'm from Northville. I just had a couple of quick things. This morning, when I saw the correspondence that was coming into the record today, or at least the titles of it, in order to see what it said, I filed a FOIL, which was promptly responded to. But it made me realize that I think you should really consider posting the content of letters that are listed on the town website. There was one in particular that caught my eye, and it was from Mr. Neosi. And that is a hot subject in the town of Riverhead. And I just think it would be really helpful and enlightening to post the content of those letters. My second point, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. My second point is, I'm not raising the substance of this, but rather the process. On May 12th of last year, I filed an ethics complaint. It involved a board member and the failure to recuse himself. I filed it in May. I made inquiries in June, July, and August. And I finally learned in August that the board was going to entertain a resolution to get outside counsel because the ethics board felt that they needed assistance. Or for some reason, I don't know. So that happened in August or September. And I made another inquiry in October, and Mr. Howard is always very prompt in responding. And he said that Mr. LaPinta had been retained as outside counsel. And he told me that Mr. Howard in the town was gathering information for him that he and Judge Cohen, who was working on the project, had to consider. So I let it lie, and in January, I made another status inquiry. We're now more than 6 months out. And shortly after that inquiry, I think the very same day, Mr. LaPinta contacted me to set up interviews. And I had 2 Zoom conferences in January and April. And I understand a number of other witnesses were interviewed. So, in June, still hearing nothing, I made yet another status inquiry. And I was told that Mr. LaPinta's report had been filed.
Kathy,
Kathy, can you speak
Yes.
closer to the mic?
Well,
Okay,
it's on the
sorry,
computer.
sorry.
But I thought we have the ability to raise her voice here also, right?
Okay.
Do we
I
have
hope
it?
this is better. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in June of this year, more than 1 year after the filing of the complaint, I made another status inquiry. And I was told that as I just said, Mr. LaPinta had filed his report with the town board. I asked for its release, and Mr. Howard said he would check on it. And the response I got was that the ethics board was drafting its own determination based on the LaPinta report and will issue recommendations, if any. And Mr. Howard told me that the ethics board was meeting on June 14th, and I should hear shortly thereafter. And that the ethics board was finalizing its determination. I am raising this because I think 14 months is an excessive amount of time, and I think I have exercised incredible patience. And I'd just really like to know if you, the town board, are aware of all this, and whether you know if there's going to be some ethics board resolution of this complaint in the near future.
Kathy, the ethics board operates independent of us. The only information that they will provide is to the person who initiated their inquiry. They will not speak to us. We do not know what they're going to say. They can make recommendations and possibly give us the information. But generally speaking, Kathy, when there's an ethics complaint, the initiator is the only one that gets the outcome. And at that time, it would be you who could share it.
Well,
not the
I
attorneys.
understood that there was going to be a written determination and possible recommendations that have to go to you, the board. So,
Right, as far as process, yes. But that, we have to wait to see what they have to say. This is just hearing it from you. If they make a recommendation to us, they will probably check with you. In fact, they have to, because you're the initiator. And then if, they may approach you and say, we want to provide this to the board, and at that time, it will be provided to us. So you are the driving force behind this right now, as far as what's going on, and the ethics board. We cannot call them, we cannot speak to them, we cannot make any assertions, we don't know what's in the complaint. So we're pretty much in the dark at the time. That's how they do operate. It is a confidential matter. And it sounds like if they met on the 14th, they might come up with some type of decision very soon.
I should certainly hope so, because I think everybody on that board would agree more than 15 months of a pending complaint is a little excessive. And you all have also spent a lot of money getting outside counsel. So, yes, they don't answer to you, but they're working for the town board, and I would just ask that these things be processed in a little more timely fashion. And then just very quickly, is there any status report on, or has anything happened with the amendment of the firearms code? Is that just in limbo, or is something being done? If you can share that with us. Thank you very much for your time.
Kathy, it's not in limbo. I know that there's been indicators by a couple individuals that say, you know, it's in limbo, they don't get back to us, there's lack of transparency, that's all good drama. But putting that aside, we have it in our town and across in the East End in the Suffolk County. There is a very liberal process to hear from the public. There are meetings that occur, some informal, some formal. We have a work session where that's taped and people can see it at any time. There are discussions between board members. The board members decide that they may consider, possibly consider, not that they are, if they feel that maybe we need to hear from the public, they schedule a public hearing. We notice that public hearing at least 2 weeks before. It's put on our website. People it pops up on their email that something's been added to the website. People are notified, and a public hearing takes place. There is a lot of times exchange of ideas, both from the town board and from the public. We accept Zoom. People can come in person. The public hearing is taped. It's put on Channel 22 for viewing at any time. And at that time, sometimes the board says we're going to go back and we have to withdraw, the legislation. Sometimes they have to go to the state. And sometimes they say, we heard from the public. I don't think I want to move this right now. And unless somebody tells me that they want to move the legislation forward, it's not going forward. And this is standard across. You have a public hearing to hear from the public. Doesn't mean that you have to act on it. And it's just another approach. And in addition, during a town board meeting, the public can come and speak on any matter towards the end, just as you are. And so at the moment, unless somebody tells me they're moving it forward, it's not going forward. Okay, do we have anyone else? No one from the no one from the audience? No?
Reggie's here. Reggie down.
I think we should just let it sit with him.
Okay.
I don't, yeah.
Gotcha.
So Rich, there was some question about some code enforcement. It's okay. It's going to be addressed with Rothwell, who's the liaison to code, and he's going to inform me. It's a confidential matter. And whenever there's a town board meeting with this happens, if you can be available 2 hours, twice a month, so if an issue comes up with code, it'd be good. So I think we took a different direction because we didn't hear from you, and I think everybody's comfortable with the way that it's going to be handled. So thank you. You're probably on a call or doing something. So, thanks.
You could just remain around for a few minutes. We're just going to speak to people. So if you can
Well,
stick
that's
around.
complaint is against them. You never speak to complaining in front of a person. Then you're not doing it for full.
I don't know what it's about. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're going to have Kern with you then. Have a witness. Yeah, speak to you. All right, so, okay, we're going to move forward, and we're going to thank everyone, and, it's wonderful weather, get out there, summer's here, summer's blooming, and please be safe, and can I have a first and a second to close this town board meeting?
So moved.
Seconded.
So technically, when you do an investigation, you never bring the complainant in. You never bring the, I know, but you have current, yeah, and then you take notes, and then you make decisions.
Okay.
Right now, they want executive, they want an investigation. We gave it to you. You don't bring in the people that are complaining.
All right, so when
Yeah,
this,
you don't bring, yeah, because that's what they're gonna,